other members of the British team. He was an Olympian in Tokyo. Please welcome.
We'll see him in a moment. Chris Thompson, still going strong, one of the most popular and enduring middle distance athletes from Great Britain. His third big half, looking to bounce back from the disappointment of missing the World Championships. Jake Smith, last year's winner. Such a talent, 24 years old, the third fastest British athlete over the half marathon distance. No introduction required, I would suggest. 39 years old, he turns 40 in March. Quite simply, Britain's most successful and decorated track athlete. Samantha Harrison, well, what a terrific season she's had, both on the track and on the road. This is her third big half, 2 second places in the last 2 years. Charlotte Purdue, a 3-time winner. She really has owned this event over the years. She'll be going for a 4th victory today, the diminutive figure. And by contrast, the tall figure of Ailish McColgan. What a summer she's had. That Commonwealth Games title, just one of 4 medals won over the last few weeks. So we are all ready for the start of this 5th big half warm-up event for the London Marathon on the 2nd of October. Watch is ready. We are underway. 13.1 miles lie ahead. The elite, and behind them 13,000 runners. This just the main event of a real collection of racing over the weekend. We've also got the New Balance big relay and the big mile later today. Very much the focus on community and diversity here. This trying to attract people who perhaps wouldn't naturally go into running, trying to target a slightly different profile of runner. And Joe, it's all about inspiring people to get off the sofa and get out there and get involved.
Oh, definitely, and London Marathon events have said how important it is to involve the local community, and particularly the boroughs that this race passes through, Tower Hamlets, Southwark, Lewisham and Greenwich. And also there are 3,200 places taken up by community runners. They're only charged a £10 entry fee. It makes it accessible to people, attracts people who maybe haven't had a chance to compete in big events like this, and it's really an inclusive event, and that's great to see.
Many people will be running this distance for the first time. We've heard from 1 or 2 of them. We've got quite a few celebrities on the course as well. So easy and so important to take it easy. Well, Mo Farah looks and sounded in good shape. And the one thing about Mo Farah, for all his success, Joe, is that he's a grafter.
He is. I mean, he's worked and worked over the years. He's still enjoying his training. He's still out there encouraging others, seeing out there training with other athletes from the British squad out in Font-Romeu, and they're inspired by him. And he's always been good at that, inspiring the other runners around him and the next generations coming through. And he looks really composed there, doesn't he?
Talking of composed, David Weir, pumping hard. He's just coming out of the Limehouse tunnel there. You can see just a slight incline as they approach Canary Wharf. The 4 boroughs, just to remind you, Tower Hamlets here, then they'll cross into Southwark and then Lewisham and then end up in Greenwich in front of the iconic Cutty Sark. So quite a lead already for David Weir. There you can see the yellow jersey of John Boy Smith in the background.
Yeah, it's quite surprising to see David Weir get the lead so early, but he's really hoping to put that disappointment of the Commonwealth Games behind him and get the win here today.
Well, I saw David Weir in action on the track in Lausanne a couple of weekends ago in 1,500 metres. His range is quite incredible, and we'll be dipping back into the wheelchair race as it unfolds. Mo Farah then out in front where he likes to be. Jake Smith, last year's winner, right of picture in the white vest. And we should also mention Jack Rowe, and it was quite a close finish in the end 12 months ago. Joe, remember Jake Smith looking round rather
Yeah.
nervously on occasion in the latter stages.
Yeah, he was, and Jack Rowe was coming through, and Jack has been in good form. He's been out in Font-Romeu, and he's hoping to get a PB today, and he's hoping to run something around the 6:1:30 mark at least. And he's good friends with Jake, and they'll be hoping to both sort of help each other, push each other on. And you know, what form is Mo Farah in today? Is he in the form that he has been in the past, or you know, he says his sessions will be going well, but he's also saying he's not maybe hitting the times he would when he won those Olympic golds. But, you know, nearly 40 years of age now, and to be still running as strong he is absolutely amazing.
Well, the big question that a lot of people have been asking, and he would expect it, is when are you going to retire? And our understanding is that he's going to do today. He'll come back and do the London Marathon at the beginning of October and then take a view. As somebody who's been through that process, when do you know when it's time?
I don't think I ever really knew. I didn't have an official retirement. I just started fizzling out, I think. I think when you love it, you want to keep going. And I think Mo, even though he's down for London, he's going to hopefully run a good race in the London Marathon. He's not saying at this point that that is going to be his last competitive outing at this stage. I mean, I don't know if he'll have a different plan when it comes to it, but he wants to get out there, and it's so brilliant for the country that he's going to be out there running the London Marathon. The crowds want to see him, and it's exciting that he's doing that, and this will be an important part of his preparation for the London Marathon, as well as some other athletes that are also running the London Marathon and using this race as a preparation.
We should also mention the last time we saw him on the streets of London, the surprise defeat to Ellis Cross, who's also in this field, by the way, the club runner. How much of a blow would that have been to him, do you think?
I think Mo took it really humbly. He had nothing but positive things to say about Ellis, and it was very surprising because they were both together in that home stretch, and Ellis, you know, was probably expecting Mo to employ his devastating kick that he normally did, but Ellis was able to out-kick Mo on that occasion. But of course Ellis said that Mo was his total idol, and he'd been joking earlier in the week when he was working at a running shop, could he beat Mo? And the actual reality of it happening, he couldn't quite believe it. But Mo was nothing but humble in the defeat that day, and obviously the performances Mo has done speak for themselves. But yeah, it was great to see Ellis Cross have such a good day that day.
So in Limehouse Tunnel, there's about a mile in that tunnel before they emerge into the daylight around Canary Wharf. Let's just remind ourselves of the map then of this big half. It's essentially in part the London Marathon in reverse. It starts out on the highway, then into the Limehouse Link Tunnel, wends its way into Canary Wharf, where over 100,000 people pile in every day. A few twists and turns, and Eilish McColgan was talking about how difficult that is for somebody who's very tall with long legs. Down Narrow Street, the cobbles, back through Wapping, past the old News International building, over Tower Bridge from north to south London, into Southwark along Jamaica Road, and then following the arch and the bend of the Thames, through Surrey Quays, the shopping centre, and eventually coming into Lewisham High Street, and then into Deptford, and then in the final mile or so, that iconic Cutty Sark awaits at the finish. So that's the course map, and here we are. First split we've got through, Joe, 4:34 for the first mile.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good pace for the men, 4:34 for the first miles. That's well around sort of 60-minute dead pace at the moment, so it's a very, very fast pace to begin with. And we've got the first split for Eilish and Samantha Harrison going through the first mile in 5 minutes, which again is a very fast pace. That's on under 66-minute pace. So yeah, a very, very fast pace both races have gone off at the moment.
Jake Smith, centre of picture there in the white. Not a name that many people watching will be familiar with, but he's certainly one of the most talented runners in Britain at the moment, particularly over the half marathon distance. He's been out in Uganda, hasn't he, recently, training, and is now with the NN running team in Netherlands, a very, very high profile team with the likes of Kipchoge and Kenenisa Bekele in it. And you personally have had some dealings with them as well, Joe?
Yeah, my husband and I have been working with Jake since he got back from Uganda. My husband's obviously the lead coach, but we're both working with him now. He's a joy to coach because he's so enthusiastic, so determined and excited for each training session. He is an amazing talent. He suffered some illness problems after coming back from Uganda, couldn't sleep properly, had a lot of food poisoning problems, things like that. Took him a while to work back, but he ran a PB in Parliament Hill in the trials, has been focusing on some track races in recent time. But yeah, he's still only 24 years old. He's third on the whole all-time list for the half marathon, and he's going to be pacing London later this year, and he's going from strength to strength, and yeah, he's a very, very exciting talent.
Should also mention Andy Butchart as well. Andy Butchart making his debut here. He's third left of picture there, fresh from the Europeans and Commonwealth Games. It's been such a busy season, an unprecedented season, Joe, we should say, for the likes of Andy Butchart and Ailish McColgan.
Yeah, I mean, Andy fared well. He was 7th in both the Europeans and the Commonwealth Games. It's been a tough year for all the athletes. I mean, how do you juggle the 3 championships? There's so many things to think about. Which events do you do at which ones do you prioritise? How do you recover from running at 3 different championships? And how do you deal with media attention like Ailish has had to have when you've had a big success and yet you're still getting ready for the next event? It's been so much for them to think about, both physically and mentally, definitely.
Andy Butchart then, right of picture, who recovered from COVID after Eugene. He was nowhere near his best for the Commonwealth Games as they emerged from the Limehouse Link Tunnel. It's about a mile, just over a mile inside the tunnel. It's the 2nd largest non-estuarial road tunnel in the UK after the Hindhead Tunnel in Surrey, opened in 1993. And they'll emerge blinking into the daylight, the daylight of an early Sunday morning here. So we've got well, a famous 5 there. We've got Ahmed as well on the right of picture, but Mo Farah looking very comfortable indeed. He's a 2-time winner here. We should also mention the course record, Joe, that was set back in 2020. Kenenisa Bekele, we've had some outstanding runners in this very young event really, but Kenenisa ran 60.22 back in 2020. Mo Farah's personal best 59.32.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that race, and actually our own Chris Thompson really pushed the pace in the very early stages before Bekele then reeled him in. But yeah, that was a sensational performance, breaking that course record.
Omar Ahmed from Birchfield Harriers on the right of picture, just being obscured there by Andy Butchart.
Yeah, Omar recently ran in the Antrim Coast Half Marathon, finishing 6th in 63.08, so he's had a bit of recovery to do to put together another race so quickly.
Well, there's Ailish, centre of picture. This is just a bit further back. They too just emerging from the Limehouse Link Tunnel. Ailish McColgan with that very, very recognisable loping style, rangy style. Those were her own words, and she was very aware of the fact that there's quite a few twists and turns, Joe, in the Canary Wharf section of this race. And for a long-limbed runner like Ailish McColgan, how difficult is that?
Yeah, I mean, she speaks of the twists and turns being difficult herself, but she's an amazing athlete to watch. She's so flowing and so deceptive because she has got that long ranging stride. She's going so much faster than it looks, I always think. She's running so fast, and yeah, it just looks so relaxed. And she's got a good kick finish as well, so she can really turn on that pace with the stride she's got. But yeah, she just looks very relaxed and in control. She's so professional, prepares well for everything. And you know, we heard the news on Friday that she's not going to make her debut this year in the London Marathon, and that's all to do with her professionalism. The problem she's had with sorting out the gels and the refuelling on her long run, she feels she's not quite ready, and she wants to be ready when she finally makes that debut.
Yes, just to give it a technical name, it's rebound hyperglycemia, which is really where she's taking on energy drinks, which of course is so important, refueling such a big part of distance running, particularly over a marathon. Of course, you can't run it without. But she was getting a pretty quick early spike and then a big crash, and that's not good because you're obviously continuing to run while that's happening. So sensibly, she's working with some top-level nutritionists to try and get to the bottom of the problem. They recognise the problem, and they reckon they'll be getting it fixed between now and next April. So she's delayed, postponed her marathon debut from October, and will make her debut at the London Marathon in April 2023.
And we see Sam Harrison, but also Callie Thackeray there, who's had a real breakthrough season. She was 6th in the European Championships. She's lowered her PB over 5K massively after originally planning to run in the marathon, and surprised herself for how quick she could run over the 5K, and turned her attention to that this year. And it's great to see that she's had a breakthrough year, as has Sam Harrison, finishing 6th in both the Europeans and the Commonwealth Games this year. She's a very exciting talent too.
Just a little glimpse of Charlotte Purdue there, left of picture. Let's not forget her. 3 times she's won this race. She likes to start slowly and just work her way through. You cannot discount her, but there's a big gap, big difference, Joe, between the personal bests of Eilish McColgan and Charlotte Purdue. Eilish has the national record over the half marathon distance.
Yeah, I mean, Eilish has been very strong on the road. She's set records in the 5K, 10K on the road this year as well. Obviously, Charlotte Purdue ran a brilliant course record last year of 69.51, and she's won this race 3 times. So this is the first time Eilish has run this race. It'll be interesting to see how it all pans out.
There's Eilish again. Let's have a look. So there we are, early stages of the race. Mo Farah, left of picture, leading the way with Jake Smith, who's got that really nice bouncy. He's up on his toes, isn't he? Jack Rowe just behind as well. Andy Butchart in the mix there. And then in the women's race, Eilish McColgan loping along in that, as you say, it looks slightly awkward style, but it's so effective and so deceptive as well. You're absolutely right that she's really is going along at quite a lick. Back to the women in just a moment. But, well, Mo Farah, it feels like we've been watching Mo Farah and enjoying his performances on the track and on the road for so long. It's worth reminding ourselves, Joe, isn't it, that he's still the British record holder at all distances from 1,500 metres to the marathon, an astonishing range.
Oh yeah, he's got such a range of talent. Of course, national record holder, like you said, for 1,500, 3:28. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. 10,000 metre PB of 26:46, and yeah, I mean, how can you keep describing how amazing Mo is? You know, 4 Olympic golds, 6 World Championship golds, and I always remember the Super Saturday when, of course, he won that 10,000 metres to cap off the day when you'd already had Jessica Ennis-Hill and Greg Rutherford also winning gold that day.
A better day in athletics for you? Can that be beaten? Super Saturday?
I think it will go down in history, won't it?
Yeah.
It was just phenomenal because we'd had medals in the rowing and cycling earlier in the day as well, hadn't we? And it was just something that got the whole country behind it all. And, you know, Mo obviously then went on to win the 5,000 as well. And, you know, that really all changed his life, didn't it? And then he went on to get the double gold, obviously, in Rio after that in 2016. And as well as achieving his 6th World Championship gold, he really has been, you know, the most successful British athlete. It's just been absolutely awesome, and it's brilliant to see him running strongly here today. You know, people write him off, talk about retirement, and there he is pushing the pace in a big race like this.
Yeah, through Canada Square in Canary Wharf. Lots of 100,000 people plus work here every day, and there is Mo Farah back on the streets of London again. There are 2 words that comes out of an interview with Mo Farah time and time again, and it's never a problem to hear him talk about it: enjoyment and hard work. And those are 2 things I think that are the bywords for Mo Farah. He's still prepared to put in the work at the age of 39, and as he said in his short interview we heard before the race, if you're not enjoying this, then it's time to pack up. And he clearly is still enjoying himself.
Yeah, you wouldn't keep going if you don't enjoy it, and he said himself he's really enjoying it. He loves training. You can see how he encourages the people around him when he's training with them, with his training partners, and yeah, he loves it.
Eilish striding out. This has been such a busy summer for her. Well, just behind Eilish, we've got, probably can't see him at the moment, but Chris Thompson is holding his side, suffering a little bit of stitch, and it's been such bad luck, hasn't it, for Chris Thompson over the last few years. He qualified, of course, brilliantly for the Olympics in Tokyo last year. What a week that was, just a few days after becoming a father, and then had those agonisingly frustrating visa problems which denied him the chance to go to the World Champs.
Oh, that was absolutely gutting, that visa problem. He got his visa the day after the race, and he was so unlucky. It was absolutely devastating. He's been able to refocus now, do this race, and he's down for the London Marathon. But yeah, he famously won that trials at nearly the age of 40. bided his time. Everyone thought he'd blown it and he was way back in the field, but he knew exactly what he's doing, keeping to the pace he planned, and he came through to win that race. And what an emotional moment that was at that time. Absolutely amazing.
I can't let you say that without saying that you won the European Championship title at the age of nearly 41 as well, so age is but a number. Eilish McColgan then going through several of these twists and turns. Chris Thompson just coming into view there, I think, in the white vest. We'll just wait for the camera to settle down. Sam Harrison in there as well, and Charlotte Purdue in that group as well. And there's a bit of a gap opened up, isn't there, between Eilish McColgan at the front of the women's race and the likes of Sam Harrison and Charlotte Purdue, who are in the chasing group.
I mean, Eilish is in awesome shape and she'll be looking for a good time today. And incidentally, the men went through the 3 miles in 13:45, which means they're still on the 60 dead pace at the moment, which is extremely fast.
Sam Harrison there, who's had a great season on the track, as we mentioned. And she's what you call an accidental runner. She really only took to running after running a half marathon in Nottingham back in 2018. So she's a late bloomer, if you like.
Yeah, she's really had a breakthrough year this year, and it's brilliant to see her up there running well.
Now, Chris Thompson, sorry to cut in, Joe, but Chris Thompson now, first glimpse of him, we're getting reports that you can see he's struggling, and is he going to step off? It takes a lot for Chris Thompson to step off the road, but he really clearly is in some distress.
He does look distressed, and obviously this is really early stages for him to be so distressed. That's really sad to see, and just hope he's okay.
Well, we wish him well. He's in great shape going into Eugene, and the frustration of not having been able to compete there must be still lingering there. Jake Smith, though, looking good on his toes. Mo Farah, Jack Rowe there, centre of picture, approaching 20 minutes of racing. Andy Butchart, hope he's recovered from COVID. So many challenges for these athletes over the last couple of years, the busy summer, but also, you know, you can't ignore, as is the case for the wider public, that COVID has been a major factor.
COVID has really knocked a lot of athletes. It's not been an illness they've been able to get over very easily. Eilish had COVID earlier in the year, which affected her ability to perform at the World Championships, but thankfully she was able to turn it around and run so amazingly at the Commonwealth Games. But yeah, it's affected so many athletes, and of course all through the pandemic all their training and preparation has been affected as well. So athletes have been through a lot through COVID, just as everyone else has been.
So this leading group of 5 have stretched away, approaching the 5-mile mark. There you can see the split times. So a little bit erratic at the moment. 4:23, the quickest of the miles so far. 4:47 through the 3rd mile. And Jake Smith will be emboldened, having won last year. And what a thrill for these athletes taking on the legend that is Mo Farah. And of course, Mo Farah has been here and seen it all and done it before.
Yeah, Jake will be loving running alongside Mo there, you know, one of his idols. He'll be well excited.
Should also mention the field, we've got the likes of Phil Seseman, who was 4th last year. He's the junior doctor in Leeds, who was first British runner home in Munich at the European Championships. He's the man with a dog called Kipchoge. What a name for a dog.
I know. I wonder what people think when they shout that name in the park.
Absolutely brilliant. I wonder if the dog's as quick as Elliot. Back to Eilish, who's starting to open up quite a gap. We'll bring you confirmation of that gap as soon as we can, but there is a clear lead now. Eilish McColgan, she said the highlight of her summer was the Commonwealth Games 10,000 metres gold, and of course the crowd in Birmingham was absolutely electric. Now a little bit of a downhill. Wheelchairs, let's just dip into the wheelchairs as they cross Tower Bridge. David Weir leading the way, and Danny Sidbury in 2nd place. These two have opened up quite a gap. Danny Sidbury, who is better known for shorter distances. He won Commonwealth Games silver over 1,500 metres, and he won both the Westminster Mile and the Vitality London 10K. Danny Sidbury is right on the shoulder, right on the back wheel of David Weir.
Yeah, and that's interesting to see. Obviously, David known for the longer distances, and he'll be wanting to burn off Danny, who's got a faster finish maybe at the end over the shorter distance.
Well, these 5 are now starting to form a nice group. And just talk to us, Joe, briefly about what it's like when you've got this breakaway group, 5, all looking very comfortable indeed. How much working together or against each other will be going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive to see such a group of them there at this pace. They'll be working off each other, sheltering a bit from the wind, being able to keep their form relaxed. Sometimes when you're out on your own, there's so much to think about. You're trying to keep your form relaxed. It's working with a clock, but they'll be able to work off each other, which is really helpful.
John Boy Smith, who's in 3rd place. John Boy Smith in pursuit, but quite a gap between David Weir, Danny Sidbury and John Boy Smith in 3rd place. So he's got a bit of work to do in the second half of this race. Tower Bridge, of course, north to south of the river, and then there's a sharp left turn off the bottom of the bridge into Tooley Street. Well, Mo Farah's constantly looking around, isn't he? He's a jack in the box. He's got such an easy start. Can you just talk us through, technically, what sort of runner Mo Farah is?
I think Mo, sometimes when he's run on the road, he kind of lowers his stride a little bit, trying to get that running economy, especially looking towards the marathon. But yeah, he's so economical. You know, everything's moving in the right direction. He's not wasting any energy, legs coming up behind, good core stability, good form. There's just no wasted energy. And I think when you're out there running your park runs and that, you're really thinking in your mind you want to emulate somebody like Mo, don't you? Everything's perfect. And same with Jake, looks so relaxed, just ticking along there, no wasted energy. And I think a lot of the top athletes, that's one of the important things. Their form is so economical, they're not wasting any energy, and that's why they can produce these good performances.
And meanwhile, Eilish has got some very good club runners for company. You've been in that position many times over the years, where perhaps you're the sole female elite athlete out on your own, but you've got for company, and I think of people like Paula Radcliffe, of course, in marathons gone past as well. How much of a help is that?
It will be helping her. They'll be able to help her with the pace. They'll be shielding her. She'll have people to run with, which is always helpful. But she's running such a quick pace, which explains why a big gap has opened up between her and the rest of the women's field. The mile split at mile 4, 5:10. I mean, that's an awesomely fast pace. That's well under 68-minute pace. And she's putting in a good performance there, and it's very hard for the other women in the race to stick with that.
Well, she's riding the crest of a wave. After Munich, she went off to St. Moritz, didn't she, to do some altitude training. It was good to see some pictures that she posted there from that idyllic place. You will have been up there many times yourself, I'm sure.
I've been up there, yeah. It's great for training, lovely trails, really, really beautiful surroundings around the lakes and everything. But yeah, I was looking at Eilish's post, and it was back to work, she'd written, but in a good way. She loves it, and she's so professional. With all that success she had this summer, she was back out there putting in the miles, not time to rest yet. And yeah, she's put in so many amazing performances. But that Commonwealth gold, I mean, it was so special, wasn't it, Chris? It was just so amazing, and the crowd really got behind her, and it was really emotional, and you could see how much she wanted it in that home straight. You know, it was sort of cat and mouse, wasn't it, the all way round between the two athletes, and she just had it there in the home straight. She found that extra gear, and almost felt like a boost of power as she came forward, and it was just absolutely amazing, and it was so special.
Just through 5 miles in, just outside 25 minutes, you can see there the entrance to the Limehouse Link Tunnel that they went through a few moments ago. So they've gone through Canary Wharf, and they're now back along the highway on their way to Tower Bridge. Yeah, brilliant to try and peak, not once, not twice, but 3 times in 3 different championships. And just to put some context on how busy Eilish McColgan has been, she had 7 races in 30 days. She ran a total of, or the equivalent of 125 laps, and it produced 4 medals. And, you know, it was so nice to hear her talking about how important the team around her is. We all know about her mum, of course, Liz McColgan, but we shouldn't forget her father, Peter, and Michael Rimmer, her partner, who was obviously a very, very well-known 800-metre runner in his own right. Yeah,
he won silver at the European Championships in Barcelona, and he's a great support to her. He trains with her, you know, does all the sessions, often goes on the bike, and yeah, big part of her success, definitely. And Eilish was the first British distance runner to compete in 6 outdoor finals in the same season, so that's another thing to her name. But yeah, all the things she had to do to recover, and dealing with the massive attention she got after winning that Commonwealth gold, and still come back at the Europeans and win a silver, you know, in the 10,000 metres and a bronze in the 5,000 metres at the Europeans. And of course she came back and won the silver in the 5,000 in the Commonwealths after that amazing 10,000 metre performance.
Saw Mo Farah just taking on some liquid there. We've got 2 drink stations, actually formal drink stations, on this race. Mile 6 they're just going through there in just under 28 minutes at 6 and 11. And we were talking earlier, Joe, about refuelling and the importance of it and the problems that Eilish McColgan has had. Did you ever experience any difficulties with refuelling?
I think I never really got my fuelling right, and I definitely felt in one of the marathons I did, I took on gels as planned and suddenly I felt worse, and maybe that had happened to me. And also it seemed as though my legs almost went into cramp and I did feel dizzy, and it is a thing that is really difficult to get right in the marathon. You know, people talk about moving up in distance, but of course even in the half marathon at an elite level, most athletes wouldn't really take on any fuel, and so going up to the marathon, it's not just about being on the start line, it's about your fueling strategies and getting that right to get your best performance. And the rebound hypoglycemia means that you take on the gel, your blood sugar spikes suddenly but then suddenly drops, which is what leaves you feeling dizzy. And you know, there are things you can do, trying different gels, trying different formulas, taking certain amounts, and she needs to get that right. And she's a very professional athlete. She doesn't want to go into that London Marathon before she knows she's got all her preparation right. And of course, when there's been so many championships this year, that's reduced the time she's had available to do that.
Yeah, the last thing you want is to make your marathon, your full marathon debut, for it to all go horribly wrong because of something that you're still trying to work out. So she will make her full marathon debut in April next year. She said she was delighted that she didn't have to wait a full 12 months. It's only 7 months until the London Marathon goes back to its traditional spot of April.
Yeah, the men went through mile 6 in 4 minutes 45 for that split, and elapsed time is 28 minutes, which means they're sort of around 61-minute pace.
Yeah, 61-minute pace, target pace, 4:47, 4:40, 4:53, and they've quickened up in the last one to 4:45. So they have just upped the tempo a little bit, and this group of 5 are well clear. Just saw Jake Smith just move to the front momentarily there. Still looking very nice and sharp on top of his toes. Andy Butchart just staying out of trouble there as well. And Jack Rowe, who gave it a real go, didn't he, last year? He was closing all the time on Jake Smith in the latter stages, and well, we'll never know, but had the race been maybe an extra, what, half a mile, quarter of a mile longer, he may have caught him. Yeah,
I think Jake felt a bit unfamiliar with the course at that point. He seemed to be looking around. He wasn't sure exactly where the finish gantry was, and he was, I think, asking people how long to go. But I think, you know, hopefully he can be more controlled this year, but I think he put in such a great performance last year, but he probably wasted a bit of energy by looking around so much. And I think now he's gaining experience, gaining maturity, and he's racing really well there today. He looks relaxed. This will be good for him to have a race where he can just focus on racing, because there's so many good athletes around him, and he can just relax into this, you know, this pace.
He's also going to be one of the official pacemakers for the London Marathon on the 2nd of October is Jake Smith. We believe perhaps with the lead group potentially, or is that yet to be confirmed?
Yes, I mean, that's the most likelihood he will be with the lead group. You know, he's experienced at pacemaking. Also, Andy Butchart is down to do some pacemaking duties at the London Marathon too.
Andy Butchart, who became a father last autumn. Partner, of course, is, many of you will know, Lindsay Sharp. Son Max was born in autumn last year. Andy Butchart there in 3rd place. Mo Farah has just dropped off the back of this group of 5 momentarily, just being obscured there by Andy Butchart. And they're now, rather than being 5 abreast, they're just starting to go single file. And, well, Jake Smith and Jack Rowe starting to assert their authority here.
Yeah, Jack looks strong, doesn't he? His training has been going really well out in Font-Romeu, and he was definitely hoping for a good time today, and he's looking really good at the moment.
Meanwhile, Eilish McColgan still looking very full of running.
Yeah, the mile 6 you went through, that split was another 5:09 mile.
Course record in the women's race, by the way, 69.51, set by Charlotte Purdue last year. But Charlotte Purdue some way back as they hit the cobbles going through Wapping High Street, and they will come through towards Tower Bridge. There we can see they're on Narrow Street at the moment.
And obviously Charlotte had that massive disappointment earlier this year, suffering from COVID at the World Championships, and was unable to finish, and so she's probably had a lot to recover from in order to try and get fit for this.
Well, Hamish McColgan, after this busiest of summers, is still looking full of running. What's the, as they on the cobbles, I'm prompted to ask you this, Joe, transition from track to road, how did you find that? How difficult is that?
Yeah, it is difficult. I mean, these days another topic is the improvements in the shoe technology, isn't it? And with the carbon plate and the extra cushioning, it does enable athletes to put together more road races. You can recover a lot more quickly, as well as it producing quicker times for athletes. But the recovery is a lot easier. I mean, way back in my day trying to run a marathon, you're running in a sole so thin as you can get, so you can actually feel the road, whereas these days so much more forgiving on the legs, and that does help with doing these big road races. But yeah, there is a lot of transition involved. Maybe you want to run a bit more economically, you've got to take in twists and turns, hills, cobbles, all sorts of things come into play. But yeah, I mean, Eilish has run phenomenally on the road this year.
Women into the second half of the race. Meanwhile, the men just coming down off the top of Tower Bridge with a group of 4 now from the group of 5. And so the athlete there nearest to camera is Omar Ahmad from Birchfield Harriers, who's looks as though he's in the process of being dropped as they come down off the top of the camber, the highest point of the bridge, down with a bit of extra momentum. So 5 become 4. We've got Jack Rowe, last year's runner-up, Jake Smith, last year's winner in the white, Andy Butchart, we know all about him, and then just obscured behind Jack Rowe, the incomparable Mo Farah.
Yeah, and they went through 7 miles in 32.54, a split of 4 minutes 49, so they're well under, you know, the 62-minute pace.
Doesn't look as though they'll be challenging the course record here today, but that's not important for these runners. They'll be just wanting to get a good run out. We've already mentioned that Jake Smith and Andy Butchart will be on pacemaking duties. There is Ellis Cross. We mentioned him early on. Ellis Cross, who, well, came up with the surprise performance of 2022. He's making his debut here, beating Mo Farah. There he is in the black, just going past the camera from Surbiton, beating Mo Farah at that Vitality 10K in May.
Yeah, that was a big moment for him after being busy working in a running shop, and it was an exciting day for Alice, definitely.
Well, Omar Ahmad has rejoined that group, having looked as though he was in the process of being dropped on the bridge. They're now down Tooley Street, so they have left the borough of Tower Hamlets, and they're now in Southwark, going along parallel to the River Thames. This is the second group of women. Charlotte Purdue, we haven't seen much of her. Right of picture, the diminutive figure, the 3-time champion, and Sam Harrison with a number of club runners for company. You mentioned what a difficult year it's been for Charlotte Purdue, and so many athletes coming back from COVID. And I suppose the basic point is you don't know how long it's going to take to fully recover.
No, you don't, and she didn't actually realise that she had COVID until when she was in the race. She just felt bad from the start. Her breathing was off. She was finding it difficult to breathe, difficult to relax, and was unable to finish, and then took that COVID test and realised it was positive, and it explained why she felt so terrible.
She's had some desperately bad luck generally with global championships. She's had to miss the Olympics.
Yeah, she was devastated not to be selected for the Olympic Games in Tokyo, but obviously made a massive comeback by running so well in the London Marathon that year, running 2:23, which is a phenomenal time for the marathon.
Eilish McColgan now starting her way onto Tower Bridge, so she has an appreciable lead over Sam Harrison and Charlotte Purdue, who are chasing hard in second and third place respectively. The crowds, Joe, pretty good as always on Tower Bridge. It's one of the best vantage points, isn't it, both for the big half and the London Marathon?
Yeah, and people want to be out to see the big stars here today, and Eilish is definitely one of those. And she went through halfway in the 32:03 her way back, and that just shows how fast she's actually running. And it is very deceptive the way her stride looks so relaxed and long, and she is running extremely fast.
32:03 I can confirm for Eilish McColgan through halfway in 32:03. Sam Harrison in second place with Charlotte Purdue just behind. Course record holder Charlotte Purdue, third fastest Briton over the full marathon, just 14 seconds behind our colleague Mara Yamauchi, 2:23 marathon runner.
It's proving to be an interesting race between those two.
It is. This is just going to give you a sense of the lead that Eilish McColgan has. So we know that Sam Harrison and Charlotte Purdue are midway through Tower Bridge. And Eilish is already off the bridge and into Tooley Street. This is a demonstration and an idea of the lead that Eilish McColgan has over Harrison and Purdue in second and third places respectively. It's a comfortable lead. She'll be getting information being fed, I'm sure, from the course side, but she's looking really determined, and you would never know, would you, that she's got all that running in her legs from the track, from the busiest summer of her life.
No, you wouldn't. She looks well in control. Looking at her watch, I mean, of course, Eilish has run amazingly on the road earlier this year, as well as those amazing track performances. She broke the British 5K world record in February, running 14:48. She broke the British half marathon record, 66:26, and in May broke the British and European 10K road record at the Great Manchester Run, running 30:19.
Steph Twell also in the race. Good to see her again.
I'm so pleased to see her back running. She's had a nightmare time with injuries. Had run a great 2:26 way back in 2019 in Frankfurt, and has struggled since. Did run in the Olympics, but wasn't able to run at her best, and she's suffered a lot of injuries. Just great to see her back.
Unofficially in fourth place, that's Steph Twell, three-time Olympian, and second in this race back in 2019. But so far, it looks as though it's the Eilish McColgan show, and the glorious summer that we've enjoyed on the track looks as though it will continue on the road. And I suppose in many ways, Joe, that makes it even more frustrating. She used the word herself in an interview. We spoke to her last Thursday, actually, ahead of today's race, and she said it's so frustrating that she won't be able to make her marathon debut in October as scheduled.
Yeah, she must be disappointed with that, but it has been such a busy summer, and she wants to sort this issue out, and with it being so busy, she really hasn't had a chance to sort it out in the way she would have liked to make sure she gets her best performance.
The men, still a group of 5, and that's been the case for the last quarter of the race. Mo Farah looking pretty good, Andy Butchart still in there, and they're clicking along at a pretty even tempo. Last mile was 4:43, so it's 4:40 and bits pretty consistently. And they're still on for around, what, 61:30
Yeah,
pace.
under 62 minutes, yeah.
Just past Rotherhithe Station, for those of you who know these parts. It's a pretty flat course, isn't it, Joe? It's a reasonably quick course, and of course there are lots of twists and turns in Canary Wharf. It's not going to be a course that challenges things like world records, but it is a pretty flat course.
Yeah, it's a pretty good course and gives the athletes a chance to experience a bit of the London Marathon course, but obviously in the other direction. Yeah, and the famous finish around by the Cutty Sark, it really is a great atmosphere at the end of this event. Jake's looking strong there, nice and relaxing.
David Weir just about to win for the second time. David Weir is a winner, just ahead of Danny Sidbury in the men's wheelchair race. Brilliant, brilliant return to form for David Weir. He won here back in 2019, and he's won again in 2022. A brilliant performance, And David Weir, the werewolf, is roaring. Danny Sidbury, well, it was a sprint finish, wasn't it, in the end, between the top two? And that is an excellent performance. David Weir, well, we'll hear from him afterwards. Well done, mate.
Brilliant.
Sets him up nicely, doesn't it, for the London Marathon? It'll be his 23rd consecutive London Marathon.
And of course, he's won the London Marathon 8 times, and it looks like he's in great shape for maybe getting another title.
Well, there it is again. And when it mattered, the 43-year-old David Weir found something and could put on the afterburners, and the werewolf roars again in London in 2022. It is a tight corner, isn't it, coming into Greenwich High Street, and before you know it, the finish line is there, just outside 47 minutes. The course record 48:44, so unofficially a course record. We'll bring you confirmation of that.
And Eilish is looking strong there, still pushing the pace.
Well, Eilish front running here, out on her own. And you mentioned that brilliant performance earlier in the year at the RAC, the Ras Al Khaimah half marathon. Jake Smith taking his turn at the front, doing a little bit of looking around again. They're through 15 kilometres, so just over 6 kilometres to go. And once again, the group of 5 has become a group of 4, and for the second time it's Omar Ahmad who's been dropped, or looks to be being dropped at the back.
Yeah, and of course Omar competed in Antrim, and it was only last weekend where he had a great run, and it would have been difficult for him to recover in time to run at his best here today, and he's looking around a bit as well, but he's still running well. But Jake looks composed, Jack Rowe looks very composed as well, and they'll be aware of how fast Mo can finish, so whether they'll try and push on the pace towards the later stages.
I was going to ask you, from here, if we're 4 runners with, what, 500, 600 metres to go, has Mo Farah at the age of 39 still got the kick he used to have?
Well, Mo's kick is so phenomenal, it would take a lot for it to reduce significantly at this stage, wouldn't it? But it's whether he's got enough left to produce that. You saw when Ellis Cross beat him, Mo wasn't having a good day, and if you're not having a good day, you can't produce that kick. But you would think that the other athletes are going to be thinking, if they're feeling strong, they will need to maybe try and push on the pace a bit, because Mo's kick is going to be devastating if he's got enough left.
Just an increase in tempo, I sense, and cadence from Jake Smith, who's looking very, very intent, isn't he? He's looking fully focused. Mo Farah, OK, he's wearing shades, but there's just something so effortless that looks natural, doesn't it, for Mo Farah? That
mile 9, 4:56, was a bit of a slower mile, so it may be that Jake is sensing that and thinking he wants to up the tempo a little bit.
All 4, you can make a case for any of these 4. They're looking very comfortable indeed, just sizing each other up, approaching 46 minutes of running. They're into the last 6 kilometres. Mo Farah has been in this position so many times before. He won't have raced against the likes of Jake Smith and Jack Rowe many times. Andy Butchard, of course, he has raced against. And worth mentioning as well, Mo Farah, 40 in March. Chris Thompson already in his 40s, and those two were, what, gold and silver, weren't they, at the European Championships back in 2010?
Yeah, Chris got that silver medal in the European Championships. And way back, Tomo, you know, when they were young, under-20s, under-23-year-old athletes, Tomo often got the better of Mo, and they became great teammates all these years.
Yeah, he's one of the most popular and respected athletes in British sport is Chris Thompson. So Eilish McColgan out on her own, as she has been for pretty much the whole race, right of picture. And in the men's race, well, we've got a real dust-up waiting to happen here. 4 athletes. Omar Ahmad has been dropped now, and it's Jake Smith, last year's winner, leading the way from Jack Rowe and Mo Farah. So Mo Farah, Andy Butchard there has just been really keeping his powder dry, staying out of trouble, just happy to continue in the slipstream. A little bit of a question mark over Andy Butchard again, coming back from COVID as they pass mile 10.
Yeah, Eilish is looking really, really strong there, really relaxed. She's got no runners behind and with no runners around her now, but she's used to this. We've seen her in road events before where she can just keep pushing the pace. She's got a very good ability of pacing, very metronomic. You saw that in some of the track races she did, keeping the K-reps exactly where they wanted to be. So she's very experienced. She's sometimes looking at her watch. She knows exactly what pace she's running and looks very in control there.
Very happy running on her own. And again, it was just terrific to see the feedback and some of the photos actually from Samarit. She was very, very pleased with the performances and the times she was producing up at altitude. It's 1,800 meters, isn't it, above sea level? So yeah, you're going to get really good benefit from the increased red blood cell count when you come back down to sea level. Pushing on. Well, here are the club runners. Some very good club runners coming over Tower Bridge, approaching halfway. This is a great feeling for anybody who's done it. This is, of course, the reverse of the London Marathon course. Here they're going from north to south, whereas in the London Marathon on the 2nd of October they'll be going in the other direction. But great crowds, the iconic Tower Bridge. Here's the 4th place in the men's wheelchair race. Michael McCabe coming through 4th place behind John Boy-Smith. So we have 4 wheelchair racers home in the men's race. Just to reiterate, David Weir just waiting for confirmation of the winning time, but unofficially a course record for David Weir. 2nd place, Danny Sidbury, John Boy-Smith in 3rd, and there Michael McCabe coming home in 4th place. A really good performance by Michael McCabe. Back to the gang of 4.
Yeah, the last mile 10 was a 4:41 split. Went through in 47:17, so they're kind of around this 62-minute pace or just below. It's interesting to see Mo feeling strong, making up a bit of a gap there.
Is it decisive?
Can the others go with him?
Well, this is Mo Farah putting on the afterburners here, isn't it? He's got so many gears he can go to, and in the blink of an eye, what is it, less than 30 seconds since we said gang of 4, the gang of 4 is now Mo Farah in front with Jake Smith and Jack Rowe, last year's 1 and 2, already, 10 metres behind, and Andy Butchart off the back of that. This is decisive. This is business-like from Mo Farah.
I think the thing is with Mo, this is what makes him great. He has got those quicker speeds over 1,500 and 5K, and he is there then able to put in these surges whereas the less experienced runners coming through, they're trying to work on their track time so that when these surges happen, they can go with it without too much damage happening to themselves. And Mo's got that turn of speed, he's got those quicker paces, and that's one of the things that Jake has been trying to work on. The fact that when these surges happen, can he cover them? Because he is more suited to the longer distances rather than quicker tracker stuff.
Do you sense this is a definitive break, or is this rope-a-dope and they'll come back at him?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it was a sudden surge, so can they reel him in slowly, or is this a decisive break? We'll have to see, but Mo is definitely looking strong at the moment.
Well, taking on some fluid. Less than 10 minutes of running for Mo Farah, or thereabouts, and he knows that. He's very familiar with this course, of course. A 2-time winner. He won in 2018. He virtually jogged around that year, remember, and then won in a sprint finish with Daniel Wanjiru, who was subsequently had his marks erased for an irregular biometric passport irregularity. And then in 2019, he won in a sprint finish. Here is the lead woman, and it is Eden Rainbow Cooper coming into victory here. In the absence of Shelley Wood, she's taken full advantage. Just outside 56 minutes. Eden Rainbow Cooper, the winner of the women's wheelchair race, so well done to her. It went to form. She was the favourite to win, and she's come through and backed up her silver medal in the Commonwealth Games. 56:39.
She's also a member of the Weir Archer Academy, as you see there on her T-shirt, getting great coaching support from them. And yeah, she's such a young talent as well. She's only 21 years old, so how exciting is her career going to be? It's going to be brilliant to see it unfold further.
Well, the course record, 56:39, set by Manuela Scher, the great Manuela Scher, back in 2018. But Eden Rainbow Cooper, well, adding to her ever-improving CV. She is a real talent, just 21 years old. Second in 2020, third in 2019, and now that winning feeling. Well, it's equalled unofficially the course record held by Manuela Scher. Again, we'll bring you confirmation of that. Very close to the course record. So we could have course records in both the men's and the women's wheelchair races today here in the big half. We'll tidy all the results up for you before we leave you. So we have the first woman through. Mo Farah then, approaching the final stages. About 7 minutes of running left for the great Mo Farah.
That last mile was another quick one, 4 minutes 41, but he's looking great, isn't he? I mean, it's just phenomenal to see him still running well at this level.
Well, it's been quite a week, hasn't it, for people thinking about or retiring. We had Serena Williams at the New York Open. Asked whether she would retire. She was playing well, and she said, do you know, I've made my decision, but it must be very tempting. And Mo Farah hasn't talked about retirement with a particular date in mind, but if he wins the race today and then puts in a decent performance in London in October, who knows, it may give him the chance to continue longer.
Yeah, I mean, he's a family man. I know he said his kids don't want him to retire. They love watching him out there, and he's such a great inspiration to them and such a great role model to his kids and lots of children around the world, really, with the performances he's put in. And yeah, he just looks really strong there. Interesting, Andy Butchard just wanted to mention that he's dropped off from the next two, but he has only ever run 70 minutes for a half marathon, and really this is almost like a debut for him. So even though he's dropped off, hopefully he will get a PB today as well after a tiring season. But
yeah, 70.03 his best, set in Glasgow in 2017. Yeah, disappearing into the distance is Andy Butchart. Now that lead is and again it's growing, isn't it? It's around 20-30 meters, and Mo Farah will be very, very difficult to shift from here into the last few miles of this race. He's got firm tarmac under his feet. There are no cobbles for the rest of this course as they approach Deptford and then into Greenwich for the finish.
Yeah, Mo comfortably in the lead, and then Jack and Jake battling it out there for second and third.
Well, in the VT that we saw at the start of the programme, we saw Mo Farah looking very lean indeed, and Hugh, who did the interview for us, asked him, you know, you're looking good, you're looking very lean, and he said, well, thank you very much, and I feel good. He's put the work in, and as we've mentioned already, when it comes to hard work, Mo Farah is prepared to put in the work, and of course, you know, he's had so much else going on in his life in the last few months. He made the appearance on I'm a Celebrity, didn't he, at the end of last year. We then had the fascinating documentary that came out just a few weeks ago, and you know, what does that say about his mental strength?
It says a lot, doesn't it? We're referring to the documentary which showed that he'd been trafficked as a child to this country, and he had all that going on in his mind through all those performances, all those Olympic golds, all those World Championship golds, and you know, we knew his mental strength was so brilliant, but to be going through that in the back of your mind, I mean, it just shows how mentally strong he is, definitely.
This is the battle for second and third. Jack Rowe just ahead of Jake Smith. They had a nice battle here on the streets of London exactly 12 months ago. It was Jake Smith who eventually hung on, but they're battling for second and third place at the moment because Mo Farah is increasing this lead, and he's just turning the screw as we've seen him do so many times before. Under 5 minutes now to the finish line for Mo Farah, winner in 2018 and again in 2019. This vital preparation again for the London Marathon, the marathon distance that he's not, for many people, entirely got to grips with. His best performance, of course, was winning in Chicago in 2018. That was probably his best. He set the European record at that time, so a 2:05 marathon runner, but hasn't really ever done justice on the full marathon distance because the event, Joe, has moved on so much. We're now at, what, 2:01:39?
Yeah, it really moved on. Like you say, he first got the British record running in London in 2018 and lowered it further when he won Chicago, which is one of the world marathon majors, when he won that in October 2018, running that brilliant 2:05:11. But yeah, the event has moved on. I don't think Mo's under any illusion. The top guys, the likes of Eli Kipchoge, you know, they're taking the event to completely a new level. But Mo's had a phenomenal career, and to still see him running this well, you know, very inspirational.
Well, the two highlighted athletes at the start of the race are in pole position in their respective contests. Mo Farah has got what looks to be an unassailable lead in the men's race, and Eilish McColgan, who's been out in front, running solo with the club runners for company for much of it, but now stretching out along the streets of Southwark and into Lewisham.
She's totally well clear of the rest of the field. She's put in some very quick miles. Mile 10, 5:07, and another mile in 5:12. So phenomenal splits there. It's going to be a very fast course record.
Well, the course record, just to remind you, in the women's race, held by Charlotte Purdue, 69.51. That is going to be improved appreciably. Yeah, 5:12 mile through mile 11. Eilish McColgan, barring any accidents here, is on for a very, very comfortable victory here. We asked her about whether she'd be refueling in this race, given what we've been talking about with her problems of refueling. She said you'd be taking on water only during this race, which strikes me as very, very sensible.
Yeah, I mean, there was talk of her practicing taking the bottle during the race, but like you say, just for water. But as far as fueling strategies, that's the time to do that, is in training, because she's got so much to sort out, and it wouldn't be worth risking any drop in performance here today when she's running so well and in such great form.
So approaching an hour of running for Eilish McColgan on her way. Meanwhile, further back over Tower Bridge, good club runners. These are still people with good ability.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning we have the New Balance big relay going on, where there's teams of people, 4 in a team, running a leg each race. Of sort of each leg they're running at roughly 5k, and it means they can run with their work colleagues, their family members, teammates. Leg 1, Tower Hill to Canary Wharf, then Canary Wharf to Wapping High Street, third leg Wapping High Street, and then leg 4, Salter Road to Greenwich. Great way of getting involved in the day if you don't feel like running the whole distance today.
Well, for people watching who've run over Tower Bridge, maybe in the London Marathon, there is no better feeling. It is really quite a buzz it gives you. Meanwhile, talking of buzzes, Mo Farah into the second hour of running. He's almost there, and surely now he has an unassailable lead, and he's heading towards his third victory here in the big half. Has had a difficult last couple of years. Must have had thoughts of retiring, but he's come back really strongly here, has regained and rediscovered a real love and a real zip, and put the hard work in, having a couple of glances away. Let's keep an eye on the clock. The course record has gone 60.22. That won't be challenged. That was set by Kenenisa Bekele back in 2020. That was another memorable day. But Mo Farah now through Deptford, and we'll be approaching Greenwich.
Yeah, he's under 62-minute pace, but like you say, not a course record here today, but still a phenomenal performance. And it seems as though Jack Rowe has opened a bit of a gap on Jake Smith back there, but he's been in fantastic form lately in training, so they're both running strongly back there.
Well, the cadence has still been maintained by Mo Farah. Looking very comfortable indeed, still relaxed in the shoulders. You can see the cheekbones are always a giveaway, aren't they? He looks very, very lean and very fit indeed. And here we go. Mo Farah will loom into view any moment now, and the crowd's rising through the streets of Greenwich. And now a little spurt for Mo Farah. The clock doesn't matter. What's important is the victory, and Mo Farah is on his way. The big half once again, and Mo Farah wins for the third time in London. Mo Farah, life begins at 40, and it feels very, very sweet indeed. Just under 62 minutes, a brilliant, brilliant performance from Sir Mo Farah, and that will give him great heart for another London Marathon crack in a few weeks' time on the 2nd of October. Jack Rowe comes through for second place, gaining some sort of revenge on finishing behind Jake Smith, last year's winner, who comes through in third place. So we have our 1, 2, 3. Sir Mo Farah victorious, Jack Rowe in second, and Jake Smith in third place. That was a good race. How impressed were you by Mo Farah?
Oh, so impressed. I mean, he's showing he's still there as the top Brit, isn't he? And his preparations for the London Marathon are obviously going well. And yeah, absolutely brilliant to see. And he's such an inspiration that he can be up there running those sort of performances. And good runs there by Jack Rowe and Jake Smith too. Andy Butchard seems to be coming in now.
Andy Butchard coming through. And this will be not a... Yes, it's a big personal best, isn't it? Huge personal best, just under 63 minutes. So he's knocked, what, 7 minutes off his lifetime best. He's still learning this event. Two good friends reunited at the end, and Omar Ahmed will come home in 5th place.
Which is a good run by Mo after running last weekend in Antrim. I mean, Omar.
So 5 men home. So Mo Farah winning the big half for the 3rd time. That will feel good for Andy Butchard as well. That gives him more information to tell him where he is in his recovery from COVID.
Good for him to have a PB that more reflects his time rather than the 70-minute one. So good for him to get a PB there today.
It's Wene Gebrselassie from Shettleston, who is the 6th finisher.
Matt Leach coming through.
Matt Leach will finish 7th. Good times as well, just outside 64 minutes. And Ailish McColgan will be coming into view very quickly. There is Ellis Cross, who caused that massive upset over 10K back in May. A little bit of revenge for Samo over the longer distance today.
And Ailish has just put in another 5:09 mile, another fast mile.
Well, this is Ailish against the clock, isn't it? This is just all about how quickly she wants to go now. This will be her final race, we think, at the end of a long, long season. She was hoping to have made a London Marathon debut at the beginning of October, but as we've discussed, that's been postponed until next April. And now she's just picking off 1 or 2 of these club runners. It's been a really brilliant performance by Ailish McColgan. 69.51, don't forget, is the course record. That should be bettered by some distance. Charlotte Purdue, last we heard, battling with Samantha Harrison for 2nd and 3rd, but we're going to see a big course record today.
Oh, a massive course record. And you can see she's gritting the teeth a bit now, putting a bit of effort in for that final bit, and it's going to be a phenomenal performance. She looks in control. She's pushing now hard to get that final performance out now, but she looks absolutely fantastic.
So less than 5 minutes to go for Ailish McColgan. Her personal best, 66.26, remember. Well, there's Mo Farah. I think, is that Hussein? His little boy there who's been reunited with. There is Cutty Sark. So Mo Farah. Well done, Dad. Let's enjoy the moment again. Here it is. 61.48, the winning time for Mo Farah. Three times a winner. And there is Gary Locke, his coach, back to winning ways. It'll be good to pick over the bones of that. We'll hear from Mo Farah a little bit later on, of course, but in the meantime, let's bring Ailish McColgan home. She's into the final 1.5 miles of this race, still running with great determination. The victory is not in question, it's hers. It's all now a matter of how quickly she can come home. She won't better her personal best, that's just gone, 66.26 from the rack half early this year. But this has been a really good, dogged performance. And a different experience, isn't it, from the track. We saw her gritting her teeth in those track finals at the Commonwealths and the Europeans and at the Worlds.
And this is a phenomenal performance. With all those championships, she hasn't had the time to put in the mileage that you normally do for a half marathon. So it's a phenomenal performance.
1 or 2 final twists and turns into Greenwich High Street. This is her first time on this course. She'll loom into view any moment now. Here she is, and the crowd rise. Ailish McColgan on her way to victory here, putting in an extra burst at the end. She knows no different. And Ailish McColgan's golden summer continues. What a year it's been. She's going to smash the course record, coming in just outside 67.35. Eilish McColgan wins yet again, Commonwealth Games champion on the track in Birmingham, and now victorious on the streets of London. She would have enjoyed that. Does she ever get tired?
She looks great, that she's smiling and waving at the crowd. Absolutely phenomenal. Another fantastic performance from Eilish McColgan.
Well, we've been treated to some fabulous performances today. Course records in the wheelchair races and a course record for Eilish McColgan. And now it's a question of how big the margin of victory is. We're waiting for Charlotte Purdue and Sam Harrison. But while we've got a moment, Joe, you'll have had moments in your career where you're just winning race after race after race, a purple patch. What does that feel like?
I don't think I've won as many as Eilish, but when you are feeling on your top form, it feels like it's just clicked and it's there, and you race and the form's there and it's there again. And sometimes it's hard to get to that place. It's almost like being in the zone, and you only get that a few times in your career sometimes. But yeah, when everything's going well, it's when you've had the consistent training, you haven't had the disruptions with injury. It's all about getting to the point where you've been able to do what you know you need to do the sessions. You haven't been disrupted by injury and illness, and that's when you get these sort of patches in your career, everything's going right.
When you're winning, you don't feel quite as tired. That's the old cliche. And Eilish McColgan at the moment is enjoying the season of her life. So many athletes wanted to do the triple, didn't they? The British athletes of Commonwealth, World and Europeans, and each athlete had their own priority within those three races. Some people prioritise the Worlds, others the Commonwealths, like Eilish did. But to go through all that racing on the track and then come back and produce a performance like that on the roads.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And it was difficult for the athletes physically and mentally. It's a lot to recover from physically, but mentally to keep getting yourself up for that next performance. That's something to go through. And all the athletes that did that this summer were, you know, definitely need to be admired.
Here's the finish again. Course record 67.34. Charlotte Purdue has rallied well after suffering from COVID. 3 times a winner, but having to settle for second place in 2022. The time, not important today, but that's just further evidence of the recovery of Charlotte Purdue, all 5 foot of her. What a contrast between Eilish McColgan, 5'11", Sam Harrison just behind. That was quite a battle, wasn't it, between Purdue and Harrison. They've been the standout athletes in this race over the last couple of years. And Sam Harrison, a 2-time second finisher, having to settle for 3rd on this occasion.
Yeah, I think Charlotte will be pleased with that after suffering COVID in those World Championships and having to come back from that. That is a good performance. I think she'll be pleased with that, and she looks happy there today. That will bode her well for her preparations for the London Marathon.
Sam Harrison adding to her growing reputation. Half marathon personal best was 84.10 when she first started running, and it's now down to 68 and bits. I'll give you a final confirmation of that winning of that time from Samantha Harrison, but 3rd place for her. Charlotte Purdue in 2nd place, but some distance away from Eilish McColgan. Spencer Barden there, just left a picture, who puts together the elite field for the big half and for the London Marathon. Has done a great job. Waiting for the next finishers in the women's race.
That's Callie Thackeray coming in there. She's had a breakthrough year this year, running brilliant in those European Championships in 6th place, and great to see her running well today.
Yeah, Callie Thackeray coming through, just tucking inside 72 minutes on debut. It's her 7th half marathon, and she'll be also, as Joe mentioned earlier on, pacing the London Marathon in October. Starting to see 1 or 2 club runners finishing now. The trickle becomes eventually a bit of a raging torrent later in the race. Still plenty of runners out on the course. Finish line does approach very quickly. If you're not familiar with the course, there's just a couple of very sharp turns, and all of a sudden you can see the finish line loom into view. So let's just tidy up all the results for you. Their confirmation of the wheelchair results. David Weir coming through just ahead of Danny Sidbury, and then some distance behind John Boy Smith. John Boy Smith, who got the better of David Weir at the Commonwealth Games marathon, of course, after that unfortunate puncture for David Weir, then roaring again on the streets of London in unofficially a course record. Eden Rainbow Cooper was winner in the women's wheelchair race. Mo Farah winning for the third time ahead of Jack Rowe, who finished second last year, and Jake Smith adding to his reputation. It was a really good finish, a really good men's race. Andrew Butchart, a huge personal best for him, and further improvement after overcoming COVID, lopping around 7 minutes unofficially off his lifetime best. And then in the women's race, Ailish McColgan coming through, going true to form, Joe, with a big course record ahead of Charlotte Purdue and Samantha Harrison.
Yeah, fantastic performance for Ailish. To say it was expected that she would be the favourite today, and she produced the goods again.
Not just about the elites today. The Big Half has incredible reach in London for all the communities, mostly parts of the London Marathon Charitable Trust, which was set up in 1981 to distribute profits from London Marathon events like the Big Half to inspire millions around the UK, children and adults, to live more healthy and active lives.
Living with Parkinson's, the first thing you have to accept is that it's, at the moment, a condition that they don't know how to cure it. Some people get stiff, some people get a tremor, you can get lots of aches and pains, and you gradually slow down. When you get the diagnosis for Parkinson's, it can be a shock because you don't quite know what to expect. And many people do withdraw into themselves, and they're bewildered and they don't quite know what's going to happen to them. So it can feel quite lonely. You don't want people to know that you've got something which is going to make you be less than you were. Coming to a group like this where everybody else has got the same condition as you, it gives you the confidence to be a person again and to enjoy things.
In a session, you can come in and feel a little bit grey, your energy can feel very low, your body may feel a little bit clunky, and then by the end of the session we feel so much lighter, and you can see that in the dancers. You can see that they're walking out and they're holding their chest a little bit higher, they're stepping forward, they're not doing their little steps, they're standing strong, which is really, really lovely to see.
Coming to these dance classes at English National Ballet, it's more the community, the friendships and the social side of it as well. It helps with giving you confidence, balance and a great sense of sort of physical well-being. Thanks for keeping this class going, because I usually go to football, and I've missed a few West Ham games because of this. Dance is a really important medium. It's not just for people with Parkinson's, it's for everyone. And particularly for a man of a certain age to say he's a dancer, people would laugh at you, but I don't think they do anymore, and I think it's important. That dance is important for everyone.
Now, there are plenty of people that are doing the Big Half for the first time, but not this lady, not Helen Thorne. Nope. How many times?
This is my second. So I did the first just before the lockdown. So that was, I think, the 1st of March 2020. And then the whole world collapsed. And then I'm back and I'm trying to do it an hour faster. just to show off. So last time I did it in just under 3, so I'm going to try for 2 this time. Let's see.
I mean, it's amazing. We've spoken a few times, obviously, through the training, and your training is so impressive.
I'm just being a show off. I've been doing hot runs in Greece and hilly runs in Cornwall, and I've just been running every second day, and I'm actually very excited about it today. I'm not going to say hello to anyone. I'm going to head down, run, and then, you know, have a party afterwards. So it's going to be great.
I mean, when you are in Edinburgh, 'cause you've just been at the festival up there, how do you fit in training around all your kind of shows there?
I think I was still drunk when I did the Arthur Seat run the other day. It's funny, actually. I've been living off kebabs and, you know, cider, and actually I just had to do it. And so, yeah, I did do it once with about 3 hours sleep running around, and I did it quite fast, and then I had to sleep for about 6 hours afterwards. But no, it's good having a strict training plan, because you're just like, no, just do it. Even if your makeup's running down your face and you've got to do comedy 3 hours later, so it's good.
I love your runner's diet, kebabs and booze. Lovely, fabulous. Well, look, good luck out there today. I hope it goes well. And are you looking forward to any part of it in particular?
I love running over this bridge. I think, you know, it's the halfway mark, everyone's screaming, and I'm very proudly running for Gingerbread, which is a single parent charity, because I'm a single parent, so I'll be cheering everyone on as well. So it's going to be great. Thanks,
Helen, good luck. You'll be great.
Thank you. Enjoy. Yay!
Well, Cutty Sark is the finish, of course, of this big half course, and we have all the elite now safely over the finish line, but still some work to do for these club runners who will be enjoying their day over the bridge, psychologically moving from north of the river to south, Joe, and well, we both know what it's like to run over this bridge, you rather quickly, more quickly than me.
It's lovely to see the runners out there running for important charities, running for their own personal goals. It's what the spirit of the day is all about.
All about diversity and inspiring people to get involved, activity. Slightly different feel to this race to many of the others. There are so many events that are put on by various organisations, most notably, of course, the London Marathon events. But this one is aimed at trying to get people involved who wouldn't normally think about going running, and trying to tap into the hugely diverse population across London. There's something for everybody. This, the big half, of course. We've got the big relay later on, and the big mile as well. And if you want to get involved, please do. If you're running or you know somebody who's running, hashtag the big half, hashtag we run as one. Mo Farah really inspiring people to get involved.
Yeah, this really is great for the community. The campaign again returns this year, We Run as One, which is really trying to open that conversation with running, with diversity, getting everyone involved. The slogan is, we run to be free, we run for equality, we run for our physical and mental health, and we run as one, and that's a really poignant message, I think.
Well, the big relay, we've got between 230 and 240 teams involved, and over 2,000 people getting involved in the big mile later on. An hour and 20 on the clock. Still a good time for these club runners. Coming in anything under an hour and a half is very impressive indeed. And there, the London skyline, the city of London in the background. So many people running for worthy causes.
Yeah, and shout out to the Felix Project, going for food equality throughout London, and they do great work, and they're the charity partner again this year.
Yeah, they do some fantastic work redistributing what would be otherwise wasted food and making sure it gets to the right people. And the Marathon have been working with the Felix Project for a number of years now, and they do terrific work.
Of course, this year is all about sustainability as well. This year, partnering with Trees Not Teas, so participants have been offered to opt out of finishing with a t-shirt and a medal, but instead get a tree planted, which is a really good cause and a really interesting element of today, definitely.
It is, and very much reflects the modern approach to mass participation events. The t-shirt and the medal so prized, and we think about a quarter of people running today have decided to opt out of the t-shirt and the medal and opt for a tree to be planted instead. So we've got all the elite over the line, still plenty of running in the legs of these 13,000 people running behind, all running for different causes. There's the finish, the Cutty Sark just in view at Greenwich, approaching an hour and a half on the clock. Well, let's catch up with some of the other interviews. We've been speaking to many people out and about on the course.
Now, as well as the big half today, we also have the New Balance Big Relay. Now, Charlotte, you're from the Felix Project. First of all, can we just establish what does the Felix Project do?
We rescue surplus food and distribute it to people in need across London. So at the moment, there's a massive cost of living crisis. There's loads of people who need food. So we delivered 30 million meals last year, and we'll do nearer 40 million this year.
You are working very hard at the moment.
We are indeed, and we've got lots of people raising desperately needed money for us today. All of our costs have gone through the roof, our electricity bills, all of our fuel costs, so we really need the money, so get sponsoring the Felix Project.
And I love that you've all come out today. You're all taking part. Is this your team?
No, my team are at the different spots. So I'm in the relay. These guys are actually doing the full half. So yeah, I thought as chief exec I had to put my money where my mouth was and at least do some. But I was like, I'll do the relay and let these amazing people. We've got a whole group of people running for the Felix Project. So yeah, I've got some of my colleagues who I'll be handing the baton on to.
I love that, though, that there is the opportunity to do the relay. So essentially you're doing a 5K before passing the baton on.
I am. I feel a bit embarrassed chatting to these guys. Everyone here is warming up to do their full half, and I'm doing the relay. But everyone who can do anything, if you can, like, even if it's 5K, if you can help us raise money, it's absolutely amazing and much needed. So yeah, hats off to these runners.
Well, look, Charlotte Hill, thank you. Good luck, guys. I hope you smash it out there.
There are many fantastic support groups and creative minds here at the Big Half, including those that we heard of at the top of the show, runners Vertex 33, who designed the medals and T-shirts for this year's race.
Hi, I'm Zach Timmel. I'm co-founder and creative director of Vertex 33. My background is in fashion and media.
Hi, I'm Mo Abdin. I am co-founder and health and wellbeing expert of Vertex 33, and my background is in fitness.
Hi, I'm Kiko. I'm the co-founder of Vertex 33, and I do the creative direction. My background is graphic design, and I do screen graphics for films.
So the partnership with Vertex came about due to the fact that I've known these guys for some time through the running community. I've wanted to kind of build a collaboration which went beyond participation in our events. So for us, this is really about authentically aligning our values and looking at how we can work together to improve representation, to look at the amazing talent within our community to support these events to be more inclusive, more diverse.
We tried to think viscerally on our experience of running the Big Half and encapsulate those moments surrounding the race.
Coming from a graphic design background, especially someone who's super inspired by title designs, I focused more on people like Saul Bass and looked at how shapes are formed in his animation that give a sense of dynamic movement.
In our initial design exploration, working within the brand framework of LME, we pitched around 49 different concepts, whilst being in 3 different time zones in London, LA and Dubai. In hindsight, maybe it was a bit too many, but exploring thoroughly was very important to us.
So I actually ran the route by myself. Without the crowd, without the community, there isn't much of the half marathon spirit, and so we decided to bring as much collaboration into the final design. So with the mosaic design, you'll see, buntings and you'll see trees, and that drew inspiration from the route itself. And it's nothing like running the route alone compared to running the route on the day with thousands of people.
When exploring colour theory, it was important to relay that energy you receive from the community in the build-up. We wanted to broadcast warmth and vibrancy through the prints and patterns. We cycled through many different combinations to provide that context of joy and celebration. What a better way to do that than to bring in a creative team to design the finisher tees and medals for the first time in London Marathon events history.
I think the creativity that the Vertex team have brought to the table has been really inspiring, and they've created some amazing designs which they've shared with us, and we've worked really hard together to kind of create something that hopefully really resonates with the community that we want to engage in our event. So we're really looking forward to sharing that with everyone.
Lots of big names taking part in the big half, including this fella, Harry Judd.
Hello. Yeah, huge names, Jenny, huge.
How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm feeling okay. It's a beautiful morning, beautiful setting. As always, these events, the atmosphere is incredible. So, yeah, we're all here to do our best, hopefully raise some money, have a good time.
When you've been playing with the band and doing loads of gigs, does anyone come out on training runs with you?
Do you know what? The boys have been out on a couple of training runs with me, the recovery runs, the slower runs. We were out on tour in Brazil and I got all 4 of them out with me. You know, they finished at different times, but it's not about how fast you go, as you know, Jenny. Yeah, it's been really nice to have some company, actually, whilst running.
I love how McFly have become like this really fit, healthy band as well. Who are you running for, and what's the reason for you taking part in all these races? Because you're doing London as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing the London Marathon, and I'm running for the Children's Trust. It's an incredible charity that helps children with neurodisabilities and brain injuries. So, yeah, that's my main motivation. But as I'm sure a lot of people have done marathons or half marathons before, it becomes a huge part of your life, and you know the training really takes over. But I'm really enjoying it. It's such a positive thing to do. You know, running is an incredible thing. I mean, the community of runners, everyone is so encouraging, and I think it's good to challenge yourself. You know, it is a huge challenge, and hopefully people are inspired by that challenge and they'll donate lots of money.
And obviously having 3 young children, getting up and getting out there in the morning sometimes gets you off the hook.
It's perfect timing. I like to go around sort of 5 o'clock, around tea, bath time, bedtime. It's a good time to go for a run, I find, yeah.
But Izzy's so pleased with you.
I just got a good luck message from my wife and children, so I think because it's a race event today, they're feeling proud and wishing me luck. So
good luck from me and from everyone else as well.
Thank you, and good luck to everyone else running today.
Cutty Sark then awaits the 13,000 runners out on the course. We had over 20,000 applications for the various events this weekend, and a great turnout of over 13,000 actually turning up on the day. Sunshine just starting to glint through on this London Sunday morning, and well, the clock you can see there, this is a live clock, just flicking round to an hour and a half, and anybody finishing, Joe, a half marathon in under an hour and a half is impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. And of course, these runners started off in 11 different waves, so some of them will be started at different times than others, and they'll have their own clock going. They'll have their chip on their number, giving them exactly the time that they went from the start to the finish. But yeah, it's great to see people out there enjoying themselves, getting personal bests, running for important charities. It's just a real festival atmosphere of running. It's absolutely fantastic.
How addictive is running?
Oh, very, because it's not just about your performance and you're getting your PBs, it's all the wonderful people you meet, all the camaraderie, just how good it makes you feel, how good it is for your mental health, and yeah, so many benefits to be had. I definitely recommend it.
Well, from the couch to 5K, which many of you will be familiar with, you can then move on to a 10K, and for many people, they've graduated, if you like, to the half marathon today, and then there's the big one, isn't it? There's always something else you can do if you really get the bug, and many people do. So
yeah.
Well done to all those taking part today.
See people out there enjoying it, and like you say, a lot of runners out there will be using this as a stepping stone to the London Marathon, and this will be an important part of their preparation and seeing where they're at.
Refueling, very important indeed. I can see the sunshine has started to come out. It was a fairly overcast day today when we started out here in East London from our commentary position, but dry and almost no wind at all, and perfect conditions, not too warm. Many of these people looking for personal bests or just getting through and just running the 13.1 miles. Not to be underestimated, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's an easy thing to do. It's not, 13.1 miles is not an easy task.
Yeah, and for a lot of the runners, they'll need their fueling strategies for this race as well as going forward to the marathon, and a lot of them will be using this race to practice those fueling strategies, taking them forward to the marathon. But yeah, the London Marathon Charitable Trust do a great job with all these events, and the money goes towards many fantastic projects, including the London Marathon playing fields in Greenwich, improving Thunder Basketball's venue in Lewisham, just to name but a few, Corn Street free exercise session for the over 50s. So much good comes out of these events that goes forward to local communities to provide sport and activity for all, and that's what it's all about.
Plenty of smiling faces, and well, Tower Bridge has really very much the epicenter, if you like, of this course, as it is for the London Marathon. Tower Hotel, which has been there since what, the late 1960s. It's changed hands many times over the years, but it's all part of the landscape and the backdrop of the London Marathon course.
Yeah, the athletes often joke that they could perhaps drop out and go to the hotel at that point if they're not having a good day. But yeah, such an iconic site, Tower Bridge. I remember running it over it myself, and you just feel like you're really there. That combined with the awesome finish down the Mall, of course, you know, everyone wants to run the London Marathon and to tick that box. So people running it in this year's race will be very, very lucky to have that opportunity.
How often do you get asked for advice about whether people should run the London Marathon? It must be almost every day.
Well, I always say a big yes. I know it's hard to get places. Everyone wants to run it, but if you can, yeah, you should do it. It's a life moment that you'll never forget, all those memories that you get from taking part in such a wonderful occasion.
Well, these runners are almost there. They've got just a few hundred metres to the finish line. So these runners just approaching the finish line here in Greenwich. We've got Jenny Falconer out on the course with people earlier on the course. Let's hear what she's been saying.
Yep. Look at this group, Emancipated Run Crew. Hello. I tell you what, we don't need crowds with you lot here. You are as loud. Trojan, tell me about Emancipated Run Crew.
Good morning. We are ERC. We are here to encourage black and brown people to run and take part in sports at events like this.
How are you all feeling today?
We are pretty excited, raring to go, and ready to run. Yes.
I mean, it is brilliant. I love the whole We Run As One campaign as well. Tell me a little bit how that helps you all.
We Run As One is about community, about belonging, about bringing people together of all shapes and shapes and sizes and speeds. And we, as you can see behind us, we want to belong to the wider One community and represent.
Are you all feeling good? Are you excited?
Very excited. My sister and I haven't had any sleep.
Are you two sisters?
Yeah.
Oh my
God. There's that little one there.
Okay, so we've got, it's like a family thing here together. Okay, well look, I hope you all do well out there. Are you going to run together?
Yes, we are. Well, most of us will. Some speedy ones will leave us behind and will wait for us at the end.
No one gets left behind.
But no one gets left behind.
One quick question. What do you do afterwards? Just go home to bed, or is there a bit of... Oh, no.
No. We're going to party with the Runderbolts, who you spoke to earlier. We're going to tear this party upside down.
Good luck. Enjoy it.
Well, here we are. I am with Paul, who's finished. I shook his hand and I have a very sweaty hand now. Thank you, mate. How was the race for you?
It was very good. Great conditions, very well organised. I had a lot of fun.
So you're running for a charity today. Do you want to talk to us about the charity? Pitt Hopkins, right?
Yeah, I'm running for a charity called Pitt Hopkins Syndrome. They're a small UK-based charity. They raise money for kids with this very rare condition, syndrome, and I'm raising money for them. And I'm also running the Chicago Marathon, and I'd like to have a big shout out to Titus, who I'm mostly raising the money for, and thank everybody who sponsored me so far. So it's Pitt Hopkins Syndrome I'm raising money for today.
Oh, incredible. So maybe your hands are sweaty, but you don't seem necessarily tired, and you've got the Chicago Marathon coming up as well. What was your kind of training going into this? Did you feel pretty prepped for today?
Yeah, I've got a coach called Coach from Running for Real. He's an amazing coach, so he's helped me out a lot. And I just keep training. I've run a few marathons before, so yeah, it's just good fun. I enjoy doing it.
So you're doing the Chicago Marathon, I'm doing the London Marathon. Yeah. Any tips? Because I feel you're very good at running, I feel like. So any tips that you have? Talk to me.
Yeah, just take your time. Don't go off too quick like everybody else. Just take your time. It's a long run, 26 miles, Run it wisely. And hydrate.
And hydrate. I find it so hard, though, when you come to amazing events like this, the atmosphere, you just want to sprint off and straight away to get to halfway. You're like, oh. So, your advice is just to keep it kind of slow at the start and build into the race.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a long race, you're going to feel good up until about halfway around, and that's when the real race starts, and you don't want to bonk at mile 21, 22 and have to stop, so just bear that in mind, and practice your long runs.
Paul, thank you so much, mate. Appreciate that. Back to you guys.
Now, you know what it's like when you're running a half marathon, you go to bed early, you have a good night's sleep, but not this man, not Jeremy Joseph, no.
2 hours sleep. 2 hours. I was with the Vivian last night, so it was a bit of a drag race night last night, and now here 2 hours. That's why I've got bags under the eyes. I need to be sponsored by, I don't know, Botox or something.
Well, I think you look good on only 2 hours sleep, I've got to say. I can't believe you were working at the club last night.
Well, girls got to earn a living. No, I mean, that's the way it is as well. Even on London Marathon days, literally a few hours sleep, straight down to the start line, then I'll sleep this afternoon.
Yeah, well, you'll deserve a sleep by then as well. I've seen you out training, obviously. I've been running as well. I've run past you a few times. You've been taking this very seriously this year.
I got set a new training program by Hughes, the CEO of the London Marathon, and it's quite a scary one because he's made me do my 20-mile run already, which is like the earliest I've ever done it before. So I'm a bit nervous, but I'm going to, you know, he's more experienced than me, so I'm going to follow his lead. But I think it's a lot scarier this year. I'm very nervous.
And the big half, have you done that before?
This is now, yeah, I do it all the time. I think it's my 4th or 5th, but this to me is like the guide of what your time is going to be for the London Marathon. So if I can do a good time today, that means maybe I can go for sub 4 on marathon day, but I don't know. I'm going to see how I feel. I kind of decide 2 miles in, so I'll run 2 miles, keep looking at the Garmin and go, okay, I can do well day, or if it's slow, go, let's just finish it.
Well, look, I wish you the best of luck out there. I'll be watching out for you, and I'll see you at the end, Jeremy. Smash it out there, okay?
Thank you.
Don't fall asleep.
Sponsor me.
It's so nice, isn't it, to hear from the various well-known celebrities out on the course, and indeed all the runners who have completed the course today. The big half starting to gain a real reputation here, becoming a regular fixture in the calendar in road racing in London, and perfectly placed, of course, as a warm-up event for the London Marathon in a few weeks' time. 2nd of October, put it in your diary. So let's just remind you, if you were with us earlier today, what happened in the wheelchair races. A great field, David Weir and Eden Rainbow Cooper amongst the big names on the start line. David Weir, of course, 43 years old now, going for a 2nd victory and looking to make up for the disappointment of the puncture in the Commonwealth Games. John Boy Smith, who won that race in Birmingham, Joe, was looking to make it 2 out of 2. But David Weir, how impressed were you with him today?
I was so impressed. He put that disappointment behind him, and he showed that he's got that sprint finish, even though he's competing against Danny, who's got the talent of those shorter distances. He had that finish at the end, and that's what David seems to be able to do. Whichever the distance, if he's there at the end, he's hard to beat.
Well, he was there at the end, and here he is coming through, traced and tracked all the way by Danny Sidbury. And a course record, 47.18, a big course record. And Eden Rainbow Cooper came through, equaling the course record of Manuela's share, 56.39. Brilliant performance by Rainbow Cooper. Well, afterwards they got their medals. There they are, and £3,000 of prize money. And afterwards spoke to Jenny Faulkner.
Huge congratulations to our winners, David Weir and Eden Rainbow Cooper. Congratulations. How are you feeling?
Feeling great. It's nice to have some good weather. The roads seem to be pretty decent. No punches. Happy with the time as well today.
Yeah, I mean, time-wise, let's just discuss that new course record. What, like 1:17 faster? I mean, that's good.
Yeah, that is good. I didn't realise that. And me and Danny was talking on the course, and we were saying it doesn't feel that quick, but that's the signs to say that we're pushing well and we're quite fit. So. Yeah, it's nice to get a course record, and I think Marcel had the course record when we did the first ever London Big Half. So yeah, it's nice to get something back from Marcel. Yeah.
And how did you feel? I mean, you were smashed at the end. You looked really strong when you finished. Did you feel that way?
Actually, I was worried about the sprint finish because Danny's a really strong track racer at the moment, and he's pushing the top guys in the world on the track. So I raced him last week in Switzerland on the track, and he beat me by miles. And so that was on my mind, but I felt pretty confident and at the end, and I seemed to be climbing well as well because Danny's really light, so I knew that he'd be climbing well. So it was just these little things are nice to know in the next couple of weeks going into the London Marathon.
A busy few weeks ahead, isn't it?
Yeah, busy few weeks. We've got Great North next week, a week off, and then Berlin and then London.
Amazing though. Well, look, Eden, congratulations. We've had a 3rd before, we've had a 2nd, but now, yes.
Finally, it's been a very long time coming, so I'm really excited that I managed to get 1st, and I think I got a personal best as well, so very happy about that. And a little bit of a back and forth between me and some of the guys on the last few miles, so I was very happy to be able to sort of just ease in front of them at the end.
How was it? What was the atmosphere like out there?
It was absolutely electric. There were people everywhere, people shouting for you and clapping for you. Seeing runners on the other side, there's a lot of loop around, so having those people sort of cheer you on, it's really encouraging, and it's just sort of great to get our Parasport out there for them.
And your next race is?
It will be, the Great North next weekend, and then we've got the London Marathon coming up as well, so hopefully we'll see how those goes, but well,
no rest, but this is just the start of it. Good luck, and thank you. Well done today. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations to David Weir and Eden Raden Cooper. Course records both. And, well, finishers still coming in thick and fast. What are we, 10:15 in the morning? It's not bad, is it, Joe, to have completed a half marathon before 10:30 on a Sunday morning?
I know, they'll feel good when they get home, won't they? Put their feet up and think what a great achievement they've just had, finishing this wonderful big half marathon.
Bacon sandwich?
Maybe that's not the most advisable refueling food, but I'm sure it would do for a lot of them.
We talked a lot about nutrition, didn't we, in the context of Eilish McColgan. Just remind us, what would be your general pre-race breakfast or nutrition?
I mean, I'd go for something simple like, a little bit of porridge or a bit of toast with some nut butter on. But it's the timing as well, leaving at least 3 to 3.5 hours before, and maybe a little snack sort of 90 minutes before. But everyone's different. You need to find out what works for you, practice it in training, and get your race strategies all prepared so you can run well on the day.
Yeah, brilliant performance from these athletes, still coming in and enjoying themselves. 1:45 approaching. Well, earlier today we had a thrilling race in the men's elite, and here we are on the start line. So Mo Farah looking for another victory here, a third victory, and of course Eilish McColgan was the headline act in the women's race. Mo Farah just ahead of Jake Smith, last year's winner, and Jack Rowe, and then Omar Ahmad as well. Andy Butchart was in the thick of it, and well, it was the famous five, wasn't it, Joe, for much of the race?
Yeah, it was good how there was a big pack of them there, and Mo definitely stamped his authority, didn't he, in those final stages, showing why he is such a multiple gold medalist and looked well in control, and it was good to see him back running at a good level, and good performances also by Jack Rowe and Jake Smith coming through for second and third.
This we thought was a surge with Omar Ahmad perhaps being dropped on Tower Bridge, but actually he was able to close back and get back in the pack and keep that group of five going, but then he was dropped again, and the famous five became the gang of four, and Mo Farah just looking so effortless. His training had gone well, he was looking very lean and talking very confidently, just really rediscovered his love of training. So much has been going on off the track and off the roads, of course, but then he made this decisive break. We wondered whether it was just a surge. You wondered whether the others would come back at him, but it was a decisive surge in the end.
It was decisive. He put in that surge, but they couldn't close it, and there he is.
Well, Mo Farah then coming home 61.48 for a third victory in the big half, and afterwards he spoke to Jenny Fulton.
Here he is, Mo Farah. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Only your third time. You remain undefeated. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's nice to be back. I love this course and come back to London. Honestly, I love the streets of London, how, everybody comes out, keep cheering your names. And today it wasn't easy, but most importantly, I think it's the win, and just nice to be back.
Mo, we were watching you, and you were kind of letting other people go ahead, and then at 10 miles, boom. Was that all part of the plan?
I think the key thing for me was try and win today, no matter what happened. But at the same time, it was nice to have Andy Butchart as a training partner, and Jack, who's been doing a bit of training with us in front remote. So I knew that them two guys would be the guys, and also Jake Smith. I didn't know what kind of shape he was in, but most importantly today was just play around with it, pick up my drink, all practice towards London Marathon.
4 weeks today. How are you feeling about that?
No, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Last 7 weeks it's been good. Got good, consistent training going. So I'm happy where I am. Next step is this afternoon I'll fly out back to front remote, and get ready for the next 4 weeks and just head down and see what I can do.
I love the atmosphere at the big half. It's brilliant. And for you, it's a real family affair. They're all here being your cheerleaders.
No, it's really nice to see my family here. And so many people come out, and again, it's a family friendly. But most importantly, you know, for me, I can, you know, the streets of London, just the support and the atmosphere is brilliant. It's just one that makes you feel come back every year again and again.
So you can really sense it when you're running as well. You're not so in the zone that you can't kind of see them all.
Yeah, no, you can feel it. It's incredible feeling. There's a little bit parts of the course where it's quiet, but mostly, you know, you get people looking out the window, cheering out your name. You see the flags coming out, and everybody's just in that happy spirit, which is nice to see. It's been so long.
It absolutely has. Mo Farah, well done, and good luck in the next few weeks as well.
Cool, thank you. Cheers, thank you.
Well, here we are. We are with Harry and George, lads. How are we feeling after that?
Well, I felt better, yeah. It was hot out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, sort of muggy. I'm pretty tired, but fun. Good crowds, good route.
Oh, great race, and both of you, you're doing it for two great causes as well. Let's start with you, Harry. Who are you running for today?
I'm running for the Children's Trust. I'm also running the marathon, the London Marathon in October. So, yeah, the Children's Trust, amazing charity. They help children with neuro disabilities and brain injuries. So, yeah, check out my Just Giving page. It's Harry Judd, / you know the score, something like that.
/ you know the score. I love that. Go on, George, how about you?
I'm a patron for the Huntington's Disease Association, so I'm raising money and awareness for them. I'm also doing the London Marathon, and if you would like to donate, you can go to my Just Giving page, which is on my social media and stuff.
Well, like you two, I'm doing the London Marathon as well. So up for Diabetes UK. So I'll see you two there. Who got the faster time out of you two?
Yeah, but I think you just got me at the end. But I mean, today was all about the London Marathon. It's all part of our training program, right? We didn't want to go all out, but to be honest, I'm still pretty knackered after that.
And what time are you aiming for the London Marathon?
Oh gosh, I haven't done a marathon for a few years, so I'm around 3:15 maybe if I have a good day.
Speedy! Boys, thank you so much, and well done again for the race today. Good stuff.
Runners still streaming through, clock ticking around towards 2 hours. Let's just remind ourselves of what happened in the women's race. We've already heard from Mo Farah. It was all about Eilish McColgan, of course, making her debut here in the big half, trying to continue this glorious summer. Charlotte Purdue going for a possible 4th victory. Samantha Harrison also in the mix. And Eilish McColgan, well, at this stage, Joe was in the thick of it with Samantha Harrison there, we can see, and Charlotte Purdue. And what did you make of her performance?
Absolutely awesome. After that long track season she's had, to produce a performance like that was absolutely brilliant.
Charlotte Purdue just 3rd from left of picture there. At this stage, going through the early stages, but then Eilish McColgan, once they got into Canary Wharf, negotiating those tight bends really nicely, and she started to stretch away, and the lead just got bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it was tough ask for the rest of the field to stay with the pace that Eilish was putting in there, and she ran an awesome race, and it was an interesting duel between Sam Harrison and Charlotte Purdue there.
Well, Eilish coming off Tower Bridge, still looking full of running, fresh from the success of the summer, of course, and then the training camp last week in St Moritz at altitude, 1,800 meters coming down. Really enjoyed her time there, just gave her an extra little boost. And well, McColgan looking for a course record, and look at that, even finding something extra as she came through over the finish line. It was indeed a big course record, a first victory in the big half for Eilish McColgan. 67.34, knocking over 2 minutes off the previous mark held by Charlotte Purdue. A brilliant performance from Eilish McColgan. And afterwards, she spoke to Jenny Fulton.
Well, it's been quite a good year for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a dream season. I'm really happy. It was nice to be back in London, and it was an incredible experience today.
Eilish, this is amazing. This is your debut at the big half, and you absolutely smashed it. Not only won, but you got a new course record, like 2 minutes faster. I mean, how does that feel?
Yeah, I'm so happy. Like, I didn't know what to expect today. As you said, it's my first time on this course, and I had so many people messaging me on Instagram saying, like, this is this part, there's cobbles here, there's a tunnel here. So I felt like I'd seen all the landmarks, but putting it all together today was, it was a cool experience. And the crowd were amazing. I had people cheering, shouting, "Go on, Liz," halfway through as well. So I was trying hard not to smile and laugh. I was like, right, focus. But it was really cool. And to run a 2-minute course record, I can't ask for any more today.
I mean, it's mighty impressive. I've got to say, you've had such a busy season as well. I know that you've said you're not overly tired, but you've bowed out of the marathon for now as well. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, it's disappointing. Like, if it was up to me, I'd probably try and just batter on and muscle through it, but I just know that's like my heart speaking, and not the sensible decision is to get everything right for April. And the good thing is it's only 7 months from now, so it's not like I have to wait a full year. I think I'd be more frustrated if I had a full year to wait. So it was cool today to come here to still get another race on the streets of London, half the distance, so hopefully in April we'll be able to go the full way.
Now, your medal collection's looking pretty impressive. Must be weighing your bags down somewhat now. Do you actually get to have a rest now? Will you get a holiday, for instance?
We booked a holiday, but after London Marathon, so I'm sort of in this awkward stage now where I have a month to wait to my holiday. So we'll try and actually search for a few more road races, probably shorter distances for now, just to sort of tide out the rest of the season. It'll be great to have a few more runs, and then, a very well-earned holiday. On the 3rd of October, I'm out here and hopefully sunning myself on a beach.
Will you be watching the Great North Run next week, remembering back to when you did it last year?
Yeah, again, like in hindsight, I obviously said no to running Great North because I was coming here and prepping for London. So, it's frustrating to miss that. But, hopefully I'll get to go along and being part of the experience. I won't be racing. But, I'm looking forward to being there and just soaking up the atmosphere.
Well, Eilish McColgan, congratulations. You did so brilliantly today. Well done.
Thank you so much. Cheers to that. Thanks.
Eilish McColgan's Indian summer continues, and there they are, our two victors today. Eilish McColgan on her debut in the big half, a big course record, and a third victory for Sir Mo Farah with their medals and £3,000 in prize money each one. Well done to both.
So I'm now joined by Alan Pascoe from the London Marathon Charitable Trust. Hello there, your trustee. Can you tell me, there's so much money is raised through the London Marathon events, and what kind of impact does that have?
Well, yeah, every event that London Marathon runs, whether it's the swimming, the cycling, the running, all the surplus of that goes into the London Marathon Charitable Trust. And we've now distributed £97 million into local community projects. A lot of community projects around the course through London, but now we operate on a UK basis as well. And one of those is the programme that we're here to talk about today with the English National Ballet.
Yes, Dancing for Parkinson's. Colin Wild's with me now. Hello there.
How are you?
Well, I'm fine. You've not been running. We're fine here.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I do dancing over at Canning Town, which is just over there, just across the water. And it's a great project that's funded by the Charitable Trust. Gives us an opportunity with us with Parkinson's to actually dance. It's very inclusive, it's great facilities there, and it just means that we can carry on something that we ordinarily would not be able to fund ourselves.
Yeah, because that's the thing, the whole thing about the trust is to make sure that people stay active and do fitness, whether it's running or dancing.
That's right, it's any type of physical activity, and we're there to inspire activity. Whether you're physically very able, like the Mo Farahs of this world, or whether you're someone, I mean, we're all carrying too much weight, or most of us. Everybody should be doing more activity for their physical and their mental well-being. And more and more now, we're just about to launch a new series of programs. So if there are people out there that are running good community programs that get people fit and active, then have a look at the London Marathon Charitable Trust website, because we may be able to help you as well.
And Colin, can I ask you what a difference dancing and moving makes to you, having Parkinson's?
For me, and also those with a lot of neurological conditions, to do physical exercise, it improves your posture, your balance, your coordination. It gives you great confidence. And we're not going to hide away. We want to go out there and exercise. I mean, I was saying to my wife this morning, I'm being interviewed, and she said, make sure that you tell them we look forward to it. So I'd like to thank the Trust as well publicly on behalf of a lot of us who are funded by them. They do a great job.
I hear as well that it's such a good class, the dance class, that you even occasionally miss going to your football matches.
Yeah, well, I support a great team in East London called West Ham, and I miss some of their games because I get a real sense of community out of it. With Parkinson's, it's quite easy to just hide away, but we're not going to. And the classes that these guys fund and other activities, it's not just dance, it's running, it's cycling, it's the whole thing, boxing as well. It's important to get out there. And do what these guys are doing now, like look at the crowds as well. It's absolutely superb.
Colin, Alan, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Runners still coming through. We've had a wonderful, wonderful day here at the 5th running of the Big Half. 3 course records out of the 4 elite races. Joe Pavey alongside me. A final thought from you.
Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant by Ailish, course record after a busy summer. Course records in both the wheelchair events, and great to see Mo back running well at the top level again. Awesome.
Well, that's it from the commentary box. We hope you've enjoyed your coverage today. Back to you on the course.
Online coverage via the BBC Sport website. You can watch all that back.
How about that, Jenny?
Do you know what? Standing here, I actually get more emotional than I would do if I was running a race. It's amazing seeing their faces as they get to the finish, the relief.
Yeah, literally at the finish line as well, you're seeing people finish and just completely exhausted. And you're like, I want to give you a hug, but you're so sweaty. So,
how good did Ailish and Mo do? And David and Aidan.
That was incredible. So good. Well, Jenny, it's been so good to do this event with you as well. We haven't gone out for a run yet.
No, we
I'm
haven't.
waiting for the invite from you because you go on some epic runs.
Okay, we'll sort that out then,
Yeah?
without a doubt.
We'll do that.
Good luck with London Marathon, which is
Thank you very much.
4 weeks today. I cannot
I
believe
know,
it.
it's mental. I saw your video at Buckingham Palace and I was like, wow, we're actually running through that.
Makes you quite
amazing.
quite
But Jenny-
nerve-wracking to
Yeah.
know that it's only 4 weeks, but it's the best
Yeah.
day, so yeah.
I think we
Good
got
luck
it.
to
We
you
got
if you're
this.
running.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one. Welcome to the Big Half 2022.
And we are underway, and the wheels are turning, the arms are pumping. 13.1 miles, the elite, and behind them 13,000 runners. David Weir for the second time. Eden Rainbow Cooper, Mo Farah putting on the afterburners. Ailish McColgan wins yet again.